And good Sunday morning to you, and welcome in everyone to the Hozel Rocket, your Sunday morning golf show, every Sunday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. This show features 16-year PGA Tour veteran Joel Edwards, who's got plenty of stories for you this week. We will talk a little bit about the FedEx St. Jude Classic going on currently in Memphis. We will talk about pre-U.S. Open talk, as that is next week in Erin Hills. In the second segment at 8:26, we will have story time with Uncle Joel, filled with, well, Phil U.S. Open stories, filled with Joel qualifying for the U.S. Senior Open. And then we will move on at 8:47 with From Crappy to Happy. We will improve your golf game, and Dallas Cowboy Bryce Butler will be here with questions about how to improve his game from 100 yards in. And somewhere in there we will work in the absolutely wonderful Jason Duffner victory at the Memorial last week, because the man on Saturday afternoon got the yips, shot 77, and I cannot think of anyone that I thought would be able to bounce back in the same week and win a golf tournament after getting the yips on Saturday and perform on Sunday. So a jam-packed show for you. Peek behind the curtain. Unfortunately, I have to be out of town this week on Sunday while this show is playing. So we are rarely, if ever, not live. But we are not live this week. We apologize. So we will not be giving you a whole bunch of current FedEx St. Jude Classic stuff. More stories, more golf conversations, and more making your golf game better and making you happier. Joel Edwards, welcome back from qualifying for, or attempting to qualify for the U.S. Senior Open. Let's start right off the top. The FedEx St. Jude Classic in Memphis.
Man, what a place. Really, really nice.
And you know, like your whole body relaxes, and you get this positive vibe about you. There's something about Memphis and something about this tournament.
Well, I mean, Memphis I've got a lot of fond memories about Memphis. I think I still hold the course record there for the front nine at Southwind.
What'd you shoot?
28.
28.
Yeah.
28, folks.
And
so take me through it.
One of those days.
Take me through 20.
Well, anyway, yeah. So
take me through 28. I want it.
Well, I mean, the day before I shot 73.
Okay.
And I was going to miss the cut because at Memphis usually it's under par. Mm-hmm. And so I got a flight, ready to leave at like 2 or 3 o'clock on Friday.
Like Johnny Miller told Tim Cup to get.
Right. So you might want to get a flight. So I got a flight. And so I, go to the hotel, go to sleep, drink my Dr. Pepper, and go to sleep. Mm-hmm. And so I get up the next morning, eat breakfast, whatever. I go to the first tee, and my caddy's just sitting there just kind of looking at me like, how do you feel? I said, I feel fine. We'll give it a shot. We'll do our best we can. And I par 1 and 2, and I go for this par 5, which I don't normally go for, number 3
Number 3.
And I hit it gimme with a 3-wood.
For an eagle. Nice.
So I par the next par 3, and then I go for another par 5 and 2, which I normally go for, but can't get there. I hit it gimme. So I'm 4 under through 5.
No, hold on, just for a second.
Yeah.
What was different? You normally don't go for 3 or 5, and you went for both of them because you pipe drives a little longer.
Yeah.
Just because the 3-wood felt good on the driving range. What?
No, just I didn't have anything to lose.
Okay.
And I just made some swings and hit a gimme.
Gimme with 3 woods from what? 240.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I would assume. I don't remember. It was back in the 40s. And
it wasn't in the 40s.
Yeah, well, it was.
All right, so we got.
So I go eagle.
Eagle at 3 and eagle at 5.
So then I get up and make a 10-footer on 6.
Mm-hmm. 5 under.
I make a 10-footer on 7.
Nice.
I make a 5-footer on 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I make a 5-footer on 9.
Oh my.
That's 28.
Was anyone noticing?
Yeah. And so I was sitting there going, oh, that's cool. So I'm obviously going to miss my flight.
Yeah.
So and then I birdie 10. So I'm going, ooh, this is something special here. Mm. So I par 11, the par 3, and all of a sudden I get up on 12 and I see all these carts driving at me. And I'm kind of going, what is going on here? Like, what are they on the golf course for? I mean, it's 9:30 in the morning. There's nobody out there.
Right.
And I mean, there's gallery, but not very many.
There's
45 that's following me because I got it going. So, and I see all these guys walking up that are cameramen for CBS, and I'm going, oh no. And the guy looks at me, and I'm going, what are you doing? I got a no going. Leave me alone,
Right.
He goes, dude, you're 9 under, on a par 71. And I go, yeah, I know
You're
I'm
on 59 watch.
Yeah, so, and so I'm going, okay. And I really didn't think about it until after he said that. So the next thing I know, I promptly dump it in the water on 12, make a bogey.
You choking bastard.
And next thing you know, they all just take off their cars and drive away. And I'm going, oh, thanks, guys. Well, I birdie the next hole, so I get it back to 9.
Okay.
And then I par in and shoot 62. So,
62.
Yeah, so I shoot 73, 62, and obviously I missed my flight. And
were you winning?
No.
After round 2, you weren't, right? These guys go low.
It was a low round of the day,
Yeah.
but the thing was, it was, I think 14 was usually there. Not anymore,
Yeah.
because they changed it after that. It was really soft and stuff. Now it's got different greens on it, and I don't think I could shoot 62 on it today.
The name of this tournament is the FedEx St. Jude Classic at TPC Southwind in
First
Memphis.
class.
Now, the FedEx part of that means something to you as well because you're a burgeoning
Yes.
pilot,
well,
sort of.
yeah,
illegally?
years ago, before it was, I guess, unfashionable, I used to go to Memphis, my wife and I and Sonner, and we just, even before all Tanner came along and all that stuff, we'd be out there, and I got to know a guy that ran the simulators at FedEx.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to know him, and the next thing I know, he calls me, and I played a practice round with him, and he drove around. He's a photographer, but he's also a pilot,
Mm-hmm.
but he's also a sim guy. So
Okay.
I got to know him, and he goes, "Hey, you want to?"
So is he a sim instructor? Is that what he is?
No, he was a pilot. Just happened to know the guys, that
So
ran
he
the
was
sims. Yeah.
he was tied in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I had always been kind of not really afraid.
So what happens, folks? PGA Tour golfers are plugged in everywhere. Restaurants, other golf courses,
Yeah.
trips to the moon.
Well, I know somebody that landed on the moon, but got to play golf with him. That's pretty cool. How many people can
On the
say
moon?
that? No, but he hit a ball on the moon.
Okay.
And
I squirreled you. My bad. Keep
that's
going.
okay. I'm
Yes.
good at it. And anyway, where was I? Oh, I was in Memphis.
Yeah.
And
You're gonna do a
go to
simulator.
the simulator.
Mm-hmm.
So all these years prior to be able to do this, to fly the sims, I was always kind of afraid to fly. I couldn't control anything, and it was just freaked me out. I didn't
And
know
you're
the
just talking about
noises.
sitting in the back,
Just
going to
sitting
the
in
next,
the airplane,
to the
just
next
kind of
tournament.
freaking me out. I used to actually get sick and all kinds of stuff. So finally, a nice man named Jim Nordstrom, who owns Nordstrom.
He's a very nice man.
Yeah, very nice man.
Very nice stores.
Cancer got him. He's a real nice man.
Yes.
He became my partner at AT&T, and he kind of knew I was a little afraid to fly, so he started picking me up. I mean, don't feel sorry for me, folks. He started picking me up in his Citation 7.
Mm-hmm. That's a jet, by the way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and it was a single pilot jet, so I would get to fly right seat with him. And he would just explain to me what's going on. Now, I'm scared. I'm in a private jet, never been in one before. And so I'm on this thing, and he's over there, and Jim was a real tall guy. And he'd get in that thing and explain to me what's going on. Then he'd let me start kind of flying it a little bit. And just touching it here and there. And then every once in a while he would, put it
So
on
what does that mean?
autopilot.
You got the rudder
The
basically
yoke,
in front of you?
No, the yoke. And
What is it?
yoke.
The yoke.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so I'm, if you, rudder, I don't know. That's
Well,
your feet. And
okay.
so I learned basically the basics of flying, but the problem is I learned on a jet, and you don't want to learn that way. You get killed that way. So
Just like in everything else, you're supposed to learn slow
you learn
to fast.
slow to fast. I learned
That's right.
fast, and I really haven't learned slow.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it scared me, but I got to a point where I could actually almost land the thing
Wow.
and almost take the thing off. So
That's
this
cool.
guy heard that and talked to me. Well, I started doing it at FedEx. So I got to do the sims at FedEx, all those big jets, the MD-11s.
So if you're
the
doing sims at
DC-10s.
FedEx, did he make you go backwards? Did he make you
No.
sim a slower?
No, you can't. Those
Okay.
are faster than the
So
Citation 7.
you're just skipping
Yeah.
parts A, B, and C.
So I got to where I could fly a, DC-10. I could fly a, 7. They didn't have any 737, but they had 727s back then. That shows you how long ago it was. They got some new 7.5s and 7.7s come in, so I got to fly those. And they always set me up and fly me and land into Tokyo or land into what do you call it, Hong Kong, where you take the right at the Purina sign, and you guys don't know that, but
No,
anyway,
I have no idea.
you land the plane on, and they would put it on ice and snow and all kinds of stuff, and I got to where I was pretty good at it. Now this is a simulator, so people don't sit there and go, hey, Joel can fly us to El Paso and play golf. No, you don't want me flying you. I might get you there, but you're going to be scared to death when you get there.
But that's still a cool transformation from a
Yeah.
guy who's sitting in coach or maybe first class, sort of throwing up in his mouth every time he goes up and down
Yeah.
an airplane, to a guy who sits next to Jim Nordstrom, who owns all the Nordstrom stores, and then he meets a guy from FedEx, and he gets to do sims, and basically now you love flying.
Absolutely. So now I go to sleep on them while I can.
Me too.
And it doesn't bother me anymore. And because I know what the sounds are, I know what's happening, I kind of know.
Okay, if you know what the sounds are, what's the one sound? This is the only thing that bothers me, because I can sleep on an airplane, bang, sleep. I figure I'm out of control anyway. It's going down, right?
Doesn't mean you have to die.
The part that I don't like is up or off or up or up, and it sounds like for a second they just turn the engine off. So you're up.
Noise abatement.
Huh?
It's called noise abatement.
That part I don't like. When it sounds like the airplane just quit.
No, well, it's throttles. So the throttles are set.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're taking off down the runway, the throttles are set. They go up to a certain altitude.
It's loud. It's the same,
loud,
push.
And they pull it back for noise abatement. So usually neighborhoods around there, those things are taken off. They call it noise abatement.
Okay.
When you look out the runway, there's always, say, engine, whatever it is. They'll come back. The pilot will pull them back, or they'll come back automatically, just a little bit, to make it. They'll level
that's
off.
What that is. So literally, he's pulling it back just to
not make
lessen
so much
the
noise.
noise. Right. Very good. Didn't know that. You know what I'm talking about, everybody? You know what I'm talking about,
exactly
though, right? That's the only time. And now I feel way better. Now I can go to sleep even before I take off because I already noise abatement. It's not the plane quitting. I appreciate that. That's pretty cool stories from Memphis. What else? People are going to Memphis in the next 2 months on vacation.
Right where that golf course is. Germantown has lots of
Germantown.
food. Really good food around there.
Is it Germantown because it's
I don't know.
No.
That's what they call it. But I will tell you this. The police there will give you a ticket for 31. It's in a 30. Yes, they will.
It's good tip.
I've had two there.
Good food and go slow.
I've had two. In a courtesy car that says FedEx on it, I've gotten 2 tickets. So they don't care, of course, if it was somebody else. But I've received 2 of them.
There you go.
So don't speed in Germantown, but it's really a nice place. Great food, great hotel. It's all right there, and nobody stays far away from there.
There you go.
It's all right there.
Joel Edwards, 16-year PGA Tour veteran, updating you on the TPC Southwind FedEx St. Jude Classic this weekend. One more time, peek behind the curtain. We are taping early this week, so you're not going to get too many updates on what's happening this Sunday morning in Memphis. Most of the top players in the world are there. This is the tournament right before the U.S. Open. So it's sort of a preference, Joel, you tell me, to a lot of guys to just go play and stay in your rhythm.
Right.
And but there are some, as Jordan Spieth, our local hero, is in Wisconsin. Now, we don't know off and on, but he's already in Wisconsin preparing at Erin Hills for next week's U.S. Open.
Right.
He has chosen not to play the FedEx tournament. Yeah. Just preference in terms of preparation?
It's personal preference. Some guys want to go early, get their work done. Some guys want to get their work done early. Some guys want to get there and have it not on their mind and just get there and go, oh, this is cool. And so
there's no right or wrong.
No, there's no right or wrong.
Okay.
Depends on how you want to do it.
TPC Southwind going on this weekend. We hope you enjoy that as well. Next week is the U.S. Open at Erin Hills. We will be all over that. When we come back, it is time for the most popular segment of our show, Story Time with Uncle Joel.
I thought I just told 2 of them.
No, you did. This whole show is going to be story time because we're taping early and because you are just vibrant and you're flying. So I'm not going to stop Joel's stories. 16-year PGA Tour veteran, going to tell us more stories about. This week, he tried to qualify for the U.S. Senior Open. What did he go through? What did he shoot? How did all that go? We'll also talk about Phil not playing at the U.S. Open. Several things to talk about. And then the final segment at 8:47, from crappy to happy, we will make your golf game better using Bryce Butler of the Dallas Cowboys with a key question as well. We'll work in Jason Duffner's marvelous win. All that coming up next on the Hozel Rocket right here on ESPN Radio 103.3 on your FM dial. And good Sunday morning to you, and welcome back, everybody. The Hozel Rocket right here on ESPN Radio 103.3 on your FM dial. I am Brady Tinker, caddying, as always, for 16-year PGA Tour veteran Joel Edwards. This is your Sunday morning golf show, and then there's a little stuff in between. Last segment was a lot about Joel learning to be a pilot because, well, he spent a lot of time doing that in Memphis, so we thought that tied in. Plus, peek behind the curtain, we are pre-taped this week. Sorry, we are not live for you on Sunday morning, so we won't be able to take your calls or texts this week. I have a prior engagement, and I'm out of town all weekend. But we think you'll find this segment and this show entertaining. Story Time with Uncle Joel is up. Joel left us last Sunday and got on a plane or got in his car and drove to Houston to go to Deerwood down in Houston, sort of prep, get yourself ready, and try and qualify for the U.S. Senior Open. Take me through it.
Well, I didn't play very good, but
Don't jump ahead.
I did drive there.
Yeah.
I didn't fly, and I didn't drive fast enough to be considered flying. Went there with a buddy of mine, Carson, and he was pro at it, Las Colinas with me, and we went out there, played a practice round for 6 holes, got rained out, and felt okay.
That short sheets you a little bit in terms of preparing or your brain?
I've played it a lot, so
you played.
Had I not played the golf course, yes.
Yes.
But I've played it so many times, and the reason why I played it so many times is because I had to go to tour school there so many times. So I played the golf course plenty of times.
Okay. All right.
And,
so you're good with where everything is. How detailed? We see these guys on Sundays between their caddies and the players themselves getting their books out, and they got everything to within a foot. Every tree, every branch. Was your book in your pocket that detailed?
Sure.
From X number of years ago?
I throw all those away because I want it. Sounds really stupid, but I want it to be fresh.
Okay.
And just in case the earth moved or something.
Sure.
It's not
trees get cut down.
It does. It happens.
Yeah.
Yardage things get different. And but anyway, everything was good. I played all right. I mean, I felt all right. And then, the thing you can't simulate is pressure and tension. So.
How long has it been since you played
8 months.
A round that mattered?
8 months.
8 months.
And that's a long time. And I was telling Carson, the young man that caddied for me, I was telling him, I said, I'm not trying to be negative here, but I can tell you who's going to qualify. And I said, my chances are decent to better, but the fact of the matter is that the guys that are going to qualify are the guys that have been playing all year. He goes, really? I said, yeah, it's not a skill level thing. The skill levels, I would say they're pretty close.
Right. Everyone here is really good.
They're good.
Yes.
So it's a matter of who's been playing. And I have not been playing. So, I've been playing every day.
I'm with you. Yeah, everybody needs to understand this stuff.
Yeah, there's a night and
you
day.
play every day. We play Thursday afternoons late. You play little money games.
Yeah.
You play with us. You play with Will Chambers of J-Dub City.
Yeah.
And you're teaching him. And you don't want to lose to me for 9 holes, but that's not the same tension that you
Doesn't
feel.
bother me.
Yeah, you don't really care.
No.
Yeah.
So that, I would... it's so different night and day is what I call it. Ben Hogan said, the difference between competitive golf and golf is playing in the dark and playing in the light.
Okay.
And that's exactly what it feels like. So I hadn't played in 8 months. I get up there, I felt pretty good. And after about my second hole, I could feel my arms a little bit heavier, which I hadn't felt in a long, long time. And I couldn't release the club very well. It's not my swing. That's me. And so it really has nothing to do with your swing.
Right.
It's your body has got a little bit more endorphins or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what you call it. And it's flowing a little faster. And let me tell you something. It makes a big difference. And I told my caddy, the guys that are going to make this are the guys that are playing tournament golf week to week to week. And the 3 that made it all play on the Champions Tour. This is their 18th tournament. So I'm just saying, I know how it works. And it's because they're ready. Had I got in, had I been able to qualify, I haven't played in the U.S. Open since last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I played the British Open last year, but I'm just saying it's a big difference. It's a huge difference if you're not playing. Because your body's just not used to it. I don't care what you say. It's just, you can practice, it doesn't matter.
So you nailed it on the first tee right down the middle, right?
Yeah, but the thing was, I did, but
Yeah.
I hit it through the fairway up against a tree, and it's a dog leg to the right, and I hit it straight, which is fine. But
Tees were the tees up?
the tees were.
And did you guys just miss the fact the tees were up 20?
No, I saw it. It was 50 yards up.
50 yards.
But the golf course was so wet that I figured it would just plug when it got there, and it landed exactly where I thought it would, and it bounced forward, and that's the tree I aimed at.
Right.
So it was right up against it.
Nice
so I really
shot.
can't complain.
Yes.
So it's the tree I aimed at. So, and that's how you start. So, and you're behind. But instead of saying behind the 8 ball, I'm behind a tree.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I said, it's my fault, and I got it out and didn't get it up and down. So it's just the way it started. I had a glasses hiccup, and I'm not used to that.
And those who have been listening to us know Joel started wearing glasses
2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Yeah, so I
And
don't.
So
I
the
don't
difference between glasses and no glasses.
They fog up in Houston, by the way.
They fall off your nose.
They slide off your nose, and they're at impact. They're halfway down your nose, so that gets. I didn't like that too much, so I'm going to have to work on the contact thing.
Okay.
So other than that, I mean, I finished and got in my car and got a burger and came home.
Okay, lessons for those out there who are playing golf. I've heard Faldo say plenty of times, you know, the tension begins to set in for these guys Sundays and stuff like that who are trying to win. And I've heard him say, you know, your body stops working and your kind of arms take over. So all of a sudden your turn isn't as good, your legs, your butt, all that stuff are not activated. The things that you're doing without thinking
It's the truth.
stop working, or in your case, early in a round, just aren't working.
There's not.
Yeah.
It's not your swing.
Right.
You can film and come in, it's exactly the same. Well, no, it's not.
Right.
The rhythm's different. The shoulder turn's not quite
Timing.
the same. You know, I call it timing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of things are different. You know, haven't been in that scenario in a long, long time, or it's your first time to win. I felt that my first win on tour. I mean, my arms felt like they weighed 100 pounds, and yet, you know, I pulled it off. But the thing is that's the difference. I had played all year too. You know, I had played for 11 straight years, so I was pretty much ready.
Right.
But I'm just saying that when like when guys go play their member guest, like this Sunday or this
right.
week or
and that's
whatever.
the comparison I love to
I'm
make.
telling you,
or
the
a round with
doesn't
buddies
matter.
you haven't seen in 5 years, and
It
you're
doesn't
all going to
matter.
play for $5 Nassau,
matter.
whatever it is. You care about it. It's something that you care about.
Your adrenaline's going to go higher. It doesn't matter. So if you're used to that every week, it's not going to bother you.
Right.
It will not bother you.
You know what it feels
You know
like.
what it feels like. You kind of enjoy it. You wait for it.
Right.
You play for that. I loved when I got nervous because that means I was playing good. I didn't get nervous when I was playing bad. Now, when I was embarrassed, I got nervous because that's when tempered things would come out because you're embarrassed and I can't believe I just hit that, so I got to let these people know I'm mad about it.
Right.
And then you act like an idiot and get fined.
Right.
And it does happen. But when I got really playing well, I knew I loved that feeling. That's a great feeling. If you're nervous and you're like, you know, there's a difference between nervous over a putt or nervous to putt to win. It's a big difference.
Absolutely.
You know, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. And you want that one putt. You don't want the other one. You know what I'm saying? You want to be nervous, but you want to be nervous for the right reason, because you're playing well, not because you're playing bad.
Okay. Excellent. So what'd you shoot? Just so everybody knows.
74.
And what would have got you in?
70.
70. So it was a tough course.
Yeah,
Tough course,
Deerwood's
wet
hard.
course.
Deerwood is, you guys all remember Tin Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So the 18th hole at Tin Cup where he spun it off with a 3-wood, you know, that happens every day.
The perfect 3-wood,
Oh, yeah.
250 and spun
I'm
off
being
the green of the water.
sarcastic. Yeah. He hits a beautiful 3-wood up there, and it hits up there and takes a check and spins back in the water. Oh, bummer! And then he dumps 5 more in or whatever. Then his last one backs up into the hole.
Makes
yeah,
it
right.
12.
Yeah, right.
It's the greatest 12 ever.
Yeah, whatever. So, and I got another. I'll tell you guys a story about that sometime because I got to go to the world premiere of that. And my wife actually put the world premiere on in Louisville, and we got to go to the world premiere. So the thing is, the fun part about
so
that
number four
at
Deerwood
is the number 18
number
hole.
18 at the Tin Cup hole
Right.
for the U.S. Open.
Right, and it's only about it's like
but it's a
460.
par 4, not a par
It's
5.
not a par 5, and you
Okay.
couldn't spin it off there with a sand wedge.
Right.
There's just no way.
Right.
And there's just no way. That's why I got angry at the movie because
Yeah.
it's like this can never happen in a million years.
What'd you make it number 4 at Deerwood / number 18 at Tin Cup?
Par.
Par. Driver what? Long
4
iron?
iron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
460-yard hole. Nice.
From the right trees.
Okay.
But yeah, I made driver.
All right, so 74. What's your next qualifying thing we're going to try
I
and
don't
do?
know. No idea.
Let's do British Open.
No, I'd have to miss this show.
Well, we can pre-tape.
No, that's all right.
No. All right, PGA?
I can't get in that.
Oh.
Senior PGA just happened 2 weeks ago.
All right, so all
You
right.
ever heard of a guy named Bernhard Langer?
Sure.
Yeah, he's doing really good.
He's not bad.
Yeah.
He doesn't age. It's amazing.
You know, he does pretty
He's
good.
beating the crap out of everybody.
Yeah,
It's
it's not
amazing.
just me.
It really is. There's another guy that yipped putts, as we will get to Jason Duffner for a long
You
time.
know, Brady, you got to stop that.
What?
Stop saying that word.
Oh, because it
Just
makes you-
say he missed it.
It makes you cringe.
I mean, it just...
Well, we're not to that segment
it
yet, so
just-
you can tell me that.
I mean,
in a
it
minute.
makes me wiggle in my chair. It makes me sick. I cannot stand that word. It's like, you know, saying a bad word somewhere. I don't like it.
There is U.S. Senior Open qualifying attempt by Joel Edwards, our 16-year PGA Tour veteran. Down in Houston at Deerwood, shot 74, would have taken 70 to get in. You certainly were capable of it. Interesting story. Thank you for sharing that. When we come back, from crappy to happy, let's make you have more fun playing golf. Bryce Butler of the Dallas Cowboys took some time of his off time. He wanted me to make sure everybody knew that. His time when he wasn't supposed to be lifting, studying, or playing Cowboys football. And he asked Joel a question about how to get better from 100 yards in. We come back from crappy to happy right here on the Hozel Rocket on ESPN Radio 103.3 on your FM dial.
Yeah.
Bryce, hey man, thanks for your question there. Yeah, you want to know how to spin a wedge.
Yeah, and just, you know what,
Yeah.
let's make it broader for him and everyone
Yeah.
else too. Make people better from 100 yards in, trying to hit shots to make birdies or to save
Right.
pars.
Sure. You know, Bryce, most people do not hit they don't hit enough club. So, first of all, if you got to understand spin. So spin has to happen past the hole.
In terms of how far you carry it.
Absolutely. So you need to know how far you're hitting your wedge before you know how much you can spin it. That's about the only three clubs. If you have three wedges, about the only three clubs you're going to spin anyway. Nobody's going to back up. Very seldom are they going to back up a 7-iron. They'll stop, but they're not going to back up. So my answer to you, Bryce, is first of all, learn how far your wedges go. Now, I'm not talking an outright nuke. I'm talking just make a swing with a wedge. That's why there's different lofts on them. And so you get up and you learn your wedges and learn how far they go. Then we can actually figure out how to make it spin. Your wedges are going to check anyway. So some people can really spin it. It's all club head speed. It's how
And
you
hitting
hit the
in the
ball.
middle of the club.
Absolutely. Hitting in the middle of the club face. You know, you're going to spin it into the wind. You're probably not going to spin it downwind. You know, tour players are, but it's just not going to happen for, anybody. It's just not going to.
So frankly, to be honest with you, if you're an average to bad golfer out there, which most people are, forget about trying to spin wedges. Because you got to hit them hard,
Yes.
and you got to hit them right in the center of the club,
Otherwise, it's
and
not
you're
gonna
also
spin.
trying to throw them to an exact number. Most of you are not going to, on purpose, spin wedges, whether they
No.
be from 100,
No.
80, 70, 60,
Doesn't matter.
50, unless you're dead into a wind,
Right. Then you're going to spin it.
then you're going to spin it.
Right. So always remember, if you get your three wedges out there and know exactly how far these balls, not where they end up, where they land.
Not the bounce and the trundle.
No.
Yes.
So if you're hitting it 100 yards to a pin, and you know it's 100 yards and it's level, you got to understand there's different variations, Bryce. So if it's uphill, it's about 4 more yards, or if
Right.
it's downhill, it's
Into the
3
wind.
less yards. Into the wind, downwind, crosswind. This is a big answer. But the thing is, you got to know how far those wedges go before you can figure out how to make them spin.
Because I think a lot of people that I play with who are strong, most people these days are strong, right? Unless they're old like you
Well,
and me. People
yeah.
are strong. So they think to themselves, well, I got to hit wedge
wanna
here
spin it, by the way.
because when I hit 9-iron, it goes 150. So I'm at 100. It's got to be a wedge or a sand wedge or a gap wedge. That's sort of their backwards math. You with me?
Sure.
But it's so different playing these more feel and touch clubs too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you get out there and if you don't know exactly how far that shot's going to go in the air, it's not going to help you anyway.
Right.
If you're depending on bounce, it's not going to. When I mean bounce, not of the club, of
The
a
bounce and
bounce
roll.
getting it to the hole.
Yeah.
With a wedge, that's not going to help. Now with a 3-wood, yeah, or a 5-iron, sure, because the ball's not going to have as much spin on it. But with a wedge, you're depending on the ball rolling there. You're not hitting enough club.
Also, most of the guys and I know you're the same way, that I play with from 100 in, just flat don't hit enough club. And
No.
I think you actually said that.
Yeah.
But, one, know how far the ball goes, and that's just driving range stuff. And the sign says 50, the sign says 100. Hopefully a lot of you out there can afford to go get some sort of device
Yeah.
that will tell you how far you are, which will really help. But also practicing shots inside 100 yards as to how far
All
you
the
hit
time.
them too. Know how far 70 is. Know how far 60, 50, 40,
Now,
30. It's
Right.
amazing how much it helps.
There are ways to do that. I know that, and that's what I want to help people do. Is you can You can, there's a bunch of different ways. I call it a half moon, or I call it, waist to waist.
The U almost.
Yeah, the U.
Yep.
So you take the club back to your waist, hit it through, see how far that goes.
Right.
Without gunning it, just take it back and through. How far does your wedge go? Take it to your ribs. To the rib.
If you watch Jordan Spieth or Google Jordan Spieth, this is what they do.
The back and the through.
He and Cameron basically go waist to waist for 50 yards.
That's right.
They go 6 inches above it for 70 yards, and he's dialed that in, and he hits a million balls,
absolutely.
and he knows what that is.
He knows exactly how far it is. Why he hits a lot of really close wedges.
That's right.
All the guys on tour hit a lot of close wedges. That's the difference between really good players
and if you ask
really
people,
bad
and we've been watching Dustin Johnson, who's now vaulted to #1 in the world, and all anybody talks about
his wedge play
is how much his wedge play has improved from 100 yards in.
He still hits at 350.
Right.
But the thing is, it's his wedge play. That's what's made him so much better.
So what do they do from 100 yards in that they're not doing? What do they need to do?
The amateurs not doing?
Yes.
You notice all these balls get to the hole on TV.
The pros.
They get to the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the pin is on a slope, and they don't want it above the pin.
Right.
Okay, so they're going to at least fly it to the pin or a little past it and make it spin back.
Right.
Now, if it doesn't spin back, they're in trouble. But they're not going to play for that. They're going to play for the spin a little bit. You have to. And if you're in the rough, you're going to play for it to bounce. You're going to play a shorter bounce and bounce it in the shot. So that's what the difference to me is, the difference between amateurs that are trying to learn spin. You got to know how far they go before you can spin it. Because it's like, they'll hit a shot and they go, "Oh man, I spun that one off the green. That was fun." Well, now you got a harder shot because it spun off the green.
Right, you got a 12-yard chip into the green.
Yeah. So it's way harder. You're better off getting that thing to the hole. So my suggestion to you, Bryce, is make sure, well, obviously come see me, but the thing is make
Los
sure,
Colinas
Los Colinas Country Club, you're
go.
more than welcome to come out and see me.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is, if you know your wedges distances, if you got 60, 57, 52, whatever you got, 60, 56, 52. You got to know exactly how far they fly. Not how far they bounce, how far they fly.
Okay.
And if you know that, then you can go accordingly. In the summertime, here's the fun part. I got to say this way. In the summertime, the ball's going to spin more.
Okay.
Softer. Okay, in the wintertime, they're going to bounce more.
Yes.
So you got to watch how far you fly it. It's the same for everybody. Like the U.S. Open, you think these guys are going to fly it to the pin unless it's raining?
Right.
I've been
It's going
raining.
to be rock hard.
It's going to be rock
Greens
hard.
are going to roll 12
It's
or
still
13.
going to spin, but they're not going to spin 30 feet back.
Right.
Like, Memphis are going to spin like crazy. U.S. Open, I doubt if they spin very much. They're going to land it short, bounce, boom, check.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it's going to be. So they're not going to fly to the hole or 10 feet past it and spin it back unless it's soft.
All right. Very good. Bryce Butler, I hope that helps.
Thanks for your question,
I will
Bryce.
be out to see you. Okay, we got about 3 minutes left to talk about Jason Duffner. You said last week we were on Sunday, and I'm not going to say the word again because you get mad at me, but Jason Duffner had problems making a 6-inch putt. And we all know what that's about. We're not talking, and this has been his bugaboo through his career off and on, is that he's one of the best ball strikers around. Affable, lovable, wonderful guy. Won the PGA. Finally won again last year, I think, for the second time. So this was his third win, but he shot 77 on Saturday at the Memorial.
Right.
And the competitor in me and the golfer in me said there's no way he's coming back to compete on Sunday after having that word, not being able to get a 6-inch putt in the hole. Because of a number of things. One, the internal turmoil that you're going through, the disappointment, the fear, the personal hatred, the embarrassment, all of those things that you have talked about, and you said he'll be fine. And I thought,
I said
okay,
he'd shoot 68.
I thought that's just one PGA guy talking to another who is being kind.
No.
And damned if he didn't come back and shoot 68 on Sunday and win the Memorial. And I want to tell you, for me, I just thought it was massive to go through something so gut-wrenching and embarrassing and to the core of you're one of the greatest golfers in the world, maybe 50 greatest golfers in the world, and you can't make a 6-inch putt on Saturday and you can shoot 68 and win on Sunday. It's phenomenal to me, Joel.
Yeah, it's mental. It is mental. I mean, at that level, it's mental. I mean, everybody hits the ball good. Everybody's a good putter. Everybody's a good chipper. You hear that old saying, if it gets your name on your bag. Well, there's a lot of guys with their name on their bag that can't do that. They bought them. If you got a name on your bag and they gave it to you, you're probably pretty good. Unless you're a superstar athlete.
I mean, his answers on Saturday were he was very curt, as you might imagine.
Who wouldn't be?
But still, I'm still in a position to win. Not very often you get to shoot 77 and still have a chance to win. Jack came up to him Sunday morning on the putting green and said, feel bad for you about Saturday. That was not your best, but there's one bit of good news. And Duffner looked at him and said, I still got a chance to win. And Jack goes, damn right. And he did. And I am amazed, and just a tip of the hat to him, because we've all been through these moments in sports at whatever level you play at, whether you're airballing free throws and you're normally a good free throw shooter, whatever it may be. You're a pitcher and you can't throw a strike. We can go through all of the things, right? You can't function like you can at whatever your level is. You all of a sudden you can't. And I'm telling you, for mere mortals, the doubt lingers with us days, weeks, months. And this guy shook this off and won. I think we just had to tip our hat to him.
Absolutely.
Great stuff. Joel, good show.
Thanks, man.
We apologize to everybody for having to pre-tape, so we didn't give you a whole lot about the FedEx St. Jude Classic. We will kill it next week.
Somebody's going to win, though.
We will kill it next week with U.S. Open conversation, I promise. We hope you enjoy the show. We're here every Sunday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. We are the Hozel Rocket. For Joel Edwards, 16-year PGA Tour veteran, I'm Brady Tinker. See you next Sunday right here on ESPN Radio 103.3 on your FM dial.